think you're ready for it.
Oh, my God. I am never ready for that. The Atonal Horns by Chicago, 25 or 6 to 4 right here on 108.9 The Hawk, the Geoff and Whisp Show. Good morning, and I hope that woke you up because it certainly woke me up.
I'm going to say something that no one has ever said as a joke before.
Please.
That made me throw up in my mouth a little bit.
Nobody has said that. Literally.
No one's ever said that one.
No one has. You came up with that on the spot.
Hey, just starting strong. Start strong with new material. That's my type 5 about throwing up in my mouth a little bit.
That is what you've been saying about 2025. New start, new Geoff. Geoff on the spot Garlock is what they should call you. They should really call you.
I mean, I'm still the angry man legally, but on the spot, legally. Yes, we'll do that.
On the spot. Hey, it is the Geoff and Whisp Show. Good morning, everybody. It's 6:15 if you are just waking up. Hope you, we would usually say you're probably fired by now, but I think you do have time to get on out there and get to your job. I am pulling for you this time. 2025, it's an all-new thing. I don't want you to get fired.
It doesn't look like my fingers are crossed, but they're crossed.
They're crossed. They are.
If you were looking at me, you would see these things are crossed for you, that you get to your slob job.
Some crossed puppies right there, so you can get to your slob job. Oh, my God, Geoff, I got to tell you about what happened last night. Holy hell. I had one heck of a time. We were down at the annual Sultans of Swing induction ceremony at the Sharnies Van Morrison Theater of Music, Thought and Progress. Of course, that's in downtown Valverde, right there at the bottom, in the feet, some would say, of Sharnies Tower. And
usually what we call the bottom of a building.
The feet. That's what they say.
Building.
When the construction brothers are putting together a building, they're like, well, we start with the feet.
Which is your first problem. You got the construction bros doing that building.
You got a big problem there if you got the construction brothers doing most of the construction in Valverde. If we get an earthquake, all I'm going to say is, good luck.
It's all going down.
We're all going down, but not me, because Turlington Manor is basically a bunker.
My God, pure adamantium at the feet of your
pure
building.
Adamantium. I said, hey, what's that Australian guy got in his bones? And they said,
and you said the greatest showman?
You know where he's like, he keeps getting the shit kicked out of him and he keeps re-healing in song?
Beautiful
I want that in my building.
My God.
Oh, but aside. I was at the Sultans of Swing induction ceremony last night, and right there, and Carson Daly was being inducted. Let's give a good clap for Carson Daly.
He deserves one.
He deserves it. Of course, I got in 1989, me and Michael Keaton, or Michael Keaton Douglas, as he likes to be called now. And a lot of people say, Wisp, what are the Sultans of Swing?
And you shouldn't be asking because it's an annual thing. But I know
it's an annual thing, but as an organization formed by Mark Knopfler from the Dire Straits, the Sultans of Swing are just like the Illuminati. But a lot of people would say stronger, more powerful, and definitely meaner.
Oh, my God.
So a Sultans of Swing salute to you, Tutu. That's the sound we have to make.
And you have to make your hand to do no picking for guitar.
No picking. You got to do the no picking Mark Knopfler.
No picking Mark Knopfler.
Oh, my God. Hey, also some big stuff on the show. Big stuff, big truck. He's broadcasting live at the grand opening of Sammy Hagar's Traffic School. Now, you say you can't drive 55, but goddammit, you're going to learn at Sammy Hagar's Traffic School. Big truck's going to be down there from 6 until 10 this morning, so head on out there. He's got koozies and T-shirts, and we'll probably check in with him.
The only business, by the way, that has Sammy Hagar's name that is not licensed by Sammy Hagar.
It's illegally.
This is an illegal traffic
name.
school.
It's an illegal traffic school.
And you know what? He was just like, hey, this one, I'm going to let it go. You're fighting for the good cause. This one,
yeah.
I'm usually very litigious, but this one, let's just let it slide. And thank you, Mr. Red Rocker.
Oh, we salute to you, Red Rocker.
Knopfler to you.
Yeah. Hey, do you have who sponsors our show? Because Scotty does not.
Oh, no, hold on. I've got it here, right here. Yes, of course. Today's Geoff and Whisp Show is brought to you by the new ride share in town, Fog Car. That's right. You ain't got Uber, you ain't got Lyft, we got Fog Car. The only ride share owned and operated and driven by the guys in a fog hat. That's Fog Car, where they want you to take it easy and they'll get you where you need to go in the slowest rides in Valverde. And that is a warning. If you are taking Fog Car,
Yeah, if you are,
you got to allot yourself at least an extra hour and a half.
Extra. I say anytime a Fog Car picks me up, 3 hours, because it is the slowest ride in Valverde.
And you hear that kick drum coming down the street, and you're
God. You're just like,
can we?
Jesus, I didn't get a lift.
My God. I used the wrong app, apparently.
Wrong app again, but a right app today, as they are sponsors of the Geoff and Whisp Show. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We got a great guest coming in just a second. But, Jeff, I got to tell you, I'm only drinking coffee this morning.
Wait a second. Excuse me, baking powder. Beep, beep, beep. Back
only
it up.
Drinking coffee this morning.
Is my nose deceiving me? Hold on. Sniff, sniff.
Sniff, sniff.
I ain't smelling no cognac. You are not lying.
Whenever I would watch any episode of Kojak.
Oh, my God.
And that was his way to find things out. He was like, hold on a second. Sniff, sniff. And they would cut out the sniff, sniff. They would edit that out of the show. And no matter how many times, because I was on set so many times, one of my good best friends in the entire world, Telly Savalas, and I'm like, maybe Telly don't do the sniff sniff. I think it's fun.
You know,
I personally think it's great.
I gotta say, that's a damn shame. And by the way, this is a segment of I gotta say that's a damn shame.
Okay, hold on. Damn shame, go.
You know, I gotta say, that's a damn shame that they cut out all those sniffs from Kojak, because if there's one thing I want from a bald detective sucking on a dum-dum, is that he is sniffing up a storm and solving clues, picking up cases and saying, hey, I smell it. And that's all I gotta say on that one.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you dealt it, because he did that for the pilot. And
that was just the pilot, though, and then they researched it, they put it through a focus group, and they realized it had to be just, I smelt it.
I smelt it.
And then the you dealt it was just, it was showing your hand a little early.
It was a little creepy, because I did see the original cut of the Kojak pilot, where he says, I smelt it. You dealt it, and they did that 70s TV where it just freezes, and then there's the name of the creator.
It was fantastic.
Like, oh, God.
And we don't need to explain this, of course, because TikTok currently is blowing up with Kojak material.
I would say because this does go out as a podcast. We've been told this by our boss Wrong, and by our producer behind the glass right there, Scotty. This does go out as a podcast. And in podcasting world, they love it when you talk about things like Kojak, Dire Straits, Carson Daly, Van Morrison, and I mean, any Sammy Hagar joke goes over. That's called a broad joke, Jeff. I don't know. You're learning jokes. I want you to know for this new year, for your type
if you're going to UCB Valverde, they're going to teach you in them sketch classes.
Oh my God, they're going to
first class. They're going to teach you the difference between parody and pastiche, because that's the thing you got to know.
I'm a pastiche man myself.
Oh my God, I love pastiche so much.
We're
Once it gets into parody
shirts.
country, I'm like, I don't want to think here too much. I just want it copied.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Jeff, but I had to say, we're both wearing purple shirts.
Are we both wearing purple shirts today?
Purple shirts today. I don't know how it happened. But I'm going to bring in our guest here and talk to him a little bit. But I have to I got to finish telling you about why I'm drinking coffee. But our guest, he might as well hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, he does a podcast. Patrick Cotnoir!
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first time on morning radio, so this is...
Oh, wait. Back. Really? You've never been on morning radio ever before?
No.
This is the first time?
No. I've been on afternoon radio, but not morning radio.
Afternoon drive time, late
Can
night,
I tell you
Art
about
Bell.
my afternoon radio appearance?
I hope so.
I please.
In middle school, I used to call the local classic rock station every single day and ask them to play Piano Man. And
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
You were that kid?
Yeah.
You were that kid, because
We all had one
show,
kid that was that kid.
One kid. We have one kid on our afternoon show with Big Truck and Greg Lemonsour, but he always calls in for Dream Warriors by Dokken.
Yes, also a great choice.
Yes.
But one day they had to say, hey, man, we've played it every day this week. We can't play it again.
literally any. I'm guessing, was this in the Northeast, Patrick?
Yeah, it was.
Really?
Literally,
That
Connecticut.
is shocking that someone in the
shocking.
Northeast would be
northern-
requesting Billy Joel. That
It was in northern
shocking.
Connecticut.
That
Oh, really?
a station in northern Connecticut hasn't already played Piano Man 4 times on the hour.
Oh, that's the
every
thing
hour.
I'm most shocked about. I assume we were just coming out of the Joel hour.
Yeah.
I just felt like they played him so much already. You might as well keep doing it. You know what I mean? In retrospect, I should have switched it up and been like Vienna.
Oh,
Born to
yeah.
Die
That's
Young,
usually
like-
Northeast Classic Radio's motto. You've been playing it so much, why not just keep playing it? When it
Because
comes
every
to Mr.
station
Joel.
in the Northeast might as well just be Piano Man 102. All Piano Man. Every minute, every hour, every day. We
You know it's
celebrate
going to
the-
kick in with that harmonica?
Whoa, I thought you were the piano man. I didn't know you were the harmonica
I guess
man.
we've got other things going on
Jesus.
here, Piano Man. My
Someone's
God.
really bragging that he can play other instruments in song.
Playing the
Okay.
friggin' French horn and the flugelhorn right after that. All right, Billy.
It's the song, you're the French horn man. I would love it. I would love every fucking second.
If Billy Joel just started doing sequels to Piano Man like he was Metallica doing Unforgiven 24.
Oh, Piano Man 4. He's the old man down in the ground, and he's just scratching
Played a
his number
flugelhorn.
into them. So, okay, let me say my story real quick, Patrick,
Yeah,
and then we'll talk
absolutely.
about why you're here. Dr. Jimmy, my doctor, everybody's doctor here in Valverde, said, I can no longer have more wine, which is what I like to scream out to Scotty there, and to fill up my goblet here with more wine. But Scotty, not this morning, because apparently, if I have any more wine, Jeff, my heart will explode.
Get out of here.
And it's not just exploding, it is supernovaing, according to Dr. Jimmy.
A
So
real
it'll take the
champagne
planet Earth
supernova, but
it
more
would be-
with wine from the band Live. So
from Carlo and Rossi, one of those jugs.
Oh,
that
my
took my
God.
father down. That's what my
Ernest
dad drank himself
Borgnine
to
jug wine, one of my
Jug wine.
favorite wines.
Borgnine jugs. If you're not drinking Borgnine jugs, get the fuck out. I loved all of those commercials. But I could take the planet Earth with me, so it's coffee, and I've got a really cute mug here. We're going to be selling it on the website. I'd rather.
I mean,
be
if
in
Dr.
bed.
Jimmy's saying it, then you gotta follow it. And I'm assuming you're chasing it up with also some brain juice in there.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Because Patrick, if you don't know, we are of course not sponsored, but
Yeah.
I'm basically sponsored by Brain Juice, which
Brain
is this
Juice.
wonderful nootropic that you have got to try.
Oh, interesting.
That-
what
and
what
it's-
does it do? Tell me.
Oh,
more.
it literally whatever you need it to do.
Oh, wow.
Needed
Okay.
to, Patrick.
And this is not snake oil. Do not
Okay.
believe them. When
Don't
people have
say
been
that.
saying that.
Yeah.
People
And
been
straight
saying
up,
that.
just everywhere, just this is snake oil. And there is a little bit of snake oil in there, but anything that ails you, it'll gales you, if you know what I mean. And that's their new motto.
Have
from
you guys
Brain
tried
Juice.
to get sponsored by them?
You know,
Well, there have been some phone calls. We
Okay.
called Pete Holmes and we asked Pete if
Yes.
he could hook it up for us, and he's like, "Nah, guys, that painter is kind of mine." And we're like, "Okay, whatever."
and we got
Whoa,
all any
Pete Holmes in the room.
Oh my goodness, it was dead on.
Dead on.
I thought we had a comedian doing a podcast.
we do have a
We're-
comedian doing a podcast. It's
We
right
do
here.
have a comedian doing a podcast. Are you
Podcast.
sponsored by Brain Juice? What is your nootropic?
Yeah,
that
what is your new
sponsoring
topic for
your
pod- Could you tell
comedy
us about your
podcast?
podcast?
Yeah.
Patrick?
Oh, can I tell you about the podcast, or do you want to know about
Please,
the
that's
sponsors?
why you're here.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
Oh,
but
I
then
want
we
both.
want to know
but
who your sponsors are.
Yeah, you're here to
Well,
tell us about
let's
the
go-
podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
let's go
then
one-
also here to tell us about the sponsors.
One
Okay.
podcast, and
Yeah.
then followed up two. See, we got to do these hand signals
Sure.
in morning radio. You've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
seen this shit. You've seen. They don't do this in afternoon radio, Patrick. They do it here. One,
They do semaphore in afternoon
Oh,
radio.
it's-
at you.
here comes the
I mean, this
plane.
is also it's a different experience because I am seeing you guys, too,
Yes, 'cause
which
you're
is not
in
a
the studio
normal.
with us. Yeah,
Yes,
well,
yes, yes.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll RV, our home that is based off of an RV. Just to let you know and let the listener know, in case it's the first episode that
I used to live in.
He used to live here.
So
And
when we
also,
say it's our home away from home, for me it literally
Literally.
is
Sure.
it
like
is.
a home away from home, and I go home and it looks exactly like this at one point.
So, Patrick, you've got a podcast. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's true. Yeah, I have this. I have a podcast we started a few weeks ago. It's called Hey, That's Me.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
that's
it's with it's me and Brian Lynch, who's a screenwriter. He wrote the Secret Life of Pets movies. He wrote the Minions movies. He's written a ton of movies that have made literally billions of dollars.
and he's
And-
talking to you.
He's talking to me. I don't know why, but he's talking to me.
He's in
Create the
Illumination's
minion.
pocket, but he's in your pocket as well.
That is true. He did not create the Minions.
He did not create them. Okay.
He did not write the Despicable Me movies. He wrote the Minions movies.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's not French. Okay.
No. But
Good,
there is a distinction.
Right.
And we're doing commentaries on movies and TV shows with people who worked on them who never got to do commentaries on them.
Oh my God! That's
So whether that's an actor or a writer or a freaking art director, costume designer, whatever, we're having.
So like the main actor from Manimal, you maybe have him.
I would love
the
to have
main-
him. Yeah. Do you have a connection to him? I feel like he probably has been on this show at some point, right?
main actor from Manimal at AOL.com.
I believe that
you
is
mean
his
Simon McCorkindale? Is that who you mean?
Simon McCorkindale.
That's how we get most of our guests. Is we just type a guess of what it could be, and then just put at AOL.com, and most of the time you get it.
AOL.com.
I do have terrible news for you guys.
What's that?
He died 15 years ago.
Oh my goodness! Come on.
Throw the delay, Scotty. We're going to be cursing a lot.
Did he
in this
die as a
one.
panther or an eagle?
Great question. He died in London, foggy old London town.
So as a panther, then.
Panther
All right,
for
I get
sure.
it.
That's
All
what
right,
it is,
well,
Panther.
I guess that's one episode not happening with your new
Yeah.
podcast. All right.
So
I'm
would
so
you
sorry.
say, because I know from all of my friends that were in the first Scream movie, that Jamie Kennedy was not allowed to do the commentary for that one. Would you do a separate Jamie Kennedy
Man, that's a great
commentary
question.
for Scream?
And he just keeps yelling, "You're X'd," the whole time. You're like, David,
Like,
you
oh,
gotta
come on.
stop.
That's we want a little background here, Jamie.
I didn't know that was the case. I don't know how much I want to associate with Jamie Kennedy nowadays, but I
Why
do.
is that?
Get
Get into that deeply with
just
us.
feels like
Can we get into this deeply?
he's making some interesting career choices, and I don't know if we want to do that. But I do think it would be fun to be like, we are the only Jamie Kennedy Scream commentary.
Oh, my
Now,
God.
after this, now that I've said this publicly, I don't think it's going to happen.
It's going
but
to happen now.
You never
he
know.
Listens.
Okay.
He
All right.
listens.
Oh, he
loves
listens.
the station. He loves the podcast.
That tracks.
You know what else?
I mean, we
loves-
have Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard here all the time.
There
Speaking
they are,
of
9
coming up in the
o'clock
7
hour.
o'clock hour,
Sure.
Skeet is going to be here showing us the difference between fondue and raclette, which is going to be
And
fantastic.
Matt Lillard is doing a one-man Death of a Salesman. That's coming up in the 9
All in
o'clock.
the voice of Shaggy.
Now, have you
Oh.
tried to have Jamie on with them, or is that
Oh,
it's
no,
the
they said
non-starter?
no. They said it's a
Non-starter.
no-go. It's
I
a
keep
no-go.
typing in Jamie at AOL.com, Jamie Kennedy at AOL.com.
Yeah,
I even
yeah.
just
Jamie
typed
K.
"You're X'd" at AOL.com, and that one almost
worked.
went through.
That
That
one
one
worked.
worked.
I went to a
and he
James
said, "Fuck
Kennedy."
you."
Yeah. So the another guy that loves the show,
Yeah,
it would be great for your show,
yeah.
and especially if you love comedy like I love comedy. Rob Schneider
Oh, sure.
has not done a commentary for The Animal.
Oh, well, I mean, is there a
Not
reason,
one for
or
the hot chick.
they just didn't ask him?
They just did not ask him. He was
He
like,
did do a
"I-"
commentary for Judge Dredd, but he
That makes sense.
wasn't asked
Right.
to do that one.
He
That one
wasn't-
is
he was
just
just in the background. He wasn't even on mic.
Schneider might be one of the rare hostless episodes, where we may
interesting.
not do it, but we'll just give him a mic and let him do it. I don't know if we would release it on our feed, but maybe we would start up a new feed for it,
This is a new take on podcast. No hosts and not on your RSS.
No,
That's fantastic.
I wish we could do that, honestly, here on 108.9
That would make our
The
life a
Hot.
lot goddamn
where
easier.
Where the
I'll tell you
guest
that.
is just like literally what's happening here. Like they typically are when we're here.
Yes.
We're going to talk more about your podcast coming up. But first, my friend, we do have to go to traffic.
108.9 The Hawk Traffic with Art Spart.
Forever young, but won't still be forever young. Well, if you thought you could slow down the aging process by driving Valverde's roads this morning, you are out of luck. What a mess. Let's get into it, Spart style. Looking at an 82 car insurance seminar on 422 that happened just because a school bus was parked on the shoulder because the driver had to take a whiz, and everyone driving by just had to take a look, and they said out loud, "Hey, is that driver whizzing?" And boom, 82 cars pretending they are humans in that gross human centipede movie. Now, a lot of you say cinema went off the rails when Citizen Kane was released, but I, for one, believe it was Human Centipede. And I will not be renting that again down at Chris Lesrenko's Movies and More, right here in Valverde. You can't fool a Spart twice. Other than that, Soundgarden Boulevard looks pretty clear down to Hog Street. Hog Street seeing a slide back up right around Flute Alley for the opening of the new Ian Anderson Jethro Tull Museum. And Gavin Rossdale Avenue can take you right out to the 829 if you're heading out to Charlottesburg this morning, though I have no idea why you would be. And that's traffic from the Bert's Funeral Flowers Traffic Desk. I'm Art Spart on 108.9 The Hog.
With Bert's Funeral Flowers, with Bert's Funeral Flowers.
I, for one, would not be driving down to Charlottesburg. You know, if you go down to Charlottesburg, Jeff, a lot of people say that could be considered breaking the law.
True.
On 108.9 The Hog.
Do you have a long, flowing shuck of hair when previously you were bald? Have you noticed that no matter how many times you shave, you often wake up with a 5 o'clock shadow that immediately becomes a big fluffy beard? And have you noticed your voice is a little bit higher than it used to be? If you've noticed any of these symptoms, you may be suffering from late-stage Michael McDonald. And here at the Michael McDonald Institute, we can help. Now, we can't stop it, but we can guide you through it. Because unfortunately, there is no cure for late-stage Michael McDonald. And on the other hand, you don't need a cure, because it ain't that bad. Michael McDonald is pretty dope. And for years, you probably thought the Doobie Brothers were fine at best. And now that you have late-stage Michael McDonald, you realize, wait a second, they're pretty awesome. And hold your horses. Michael McDonald really is doing background vocals on every song I love. Here at the Michael McDonald Institute, we will give you the tools to help you live with this new affliction and help your family deal with the fact that you want to listen to a 3-hour Doobie Bounce playlist. And how do we know our techniques work? Because all of us who work here also suffer from this affliction. The Michael McDonald Institute, where we know loving and maybe becoming Michael McDonald is just inevitable in life.
It's Mick Jagger, and even though the Hawk may have changed a little bit, it's still the same Hawk all night long.
108.9 The Hog.
Oh, God, it feels good to finally get some Henley in the mix. From the album Building the Perfect Beast. What would that beast look like to you, Patrick? If Don Henley was like, Patrick, we got to build a beast.
Oh, my God.
And Don Henley is clearly acting like Christopher Lloyd.
That's what I was going to say, Doc Brown. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Patrick.
Marty.
The perfect beast to me.
Uh-huh.
Man, can I have any parameters here?
Any parameters? I mean, it's
Parameters.
you and
This is
Henley,
morning
man.
radio. I know in afternoon radio they give you parameters.
There's so many
but-
goddamn parameters on morning radio.
Well, okay, the perfect beast. Maybe a panther?
Okay.
Oh, my God. Manimal
Is that
style.
the perfect beast?
Manimal
style.
It's like you're in London.
Yes. Yeah. Like a robot panther. That's what that would be my perfect beast, I think.
Panther. Wow.
And you as a kid.
Not a
would be
good
listening-
answer, but it's an answer.
You
know?
as a kid.
Oh, we don't like
No,
good
no.
answers on morning
No,
radio.
like-
We only
no,
want
we want
answers.
just answers. Good or bad, just we got to fill
Yeah.
some space between now and that
4
war
goddamn
song
hours
we
we got to
play.
talk
And,
here.
like,
Jesus
Who
Christ.
comes on after you guys?
oh, that's the Jeff Tilt and Melinda Tilt divorced middays. Now, we don't know if they are married right now
Yeah,
or if they're divorced, but you're going to hear them from 10 until 3.
No matter
right
what, Melinda
here.
is still a Matrix-style Neo breaking through reality. And
Yep. I thought you were going to say Minx. And I was like,
and
Jeff.
the basis for the
Uh-oh,
TV
Jeff
show
Tilt.
Minx,
Yep.
which I believe
She
is
is
not
the
on the air
basis.
anymore. But would
my
you do
God.
an episode on the TV show Minx?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, you would. That's what I
Lennon,
thought. Would you-
Parham, Oscar
These are
Montoya.
some-
Bring them all in.
I'll tell you what, this
Get
is just
the
coming
Minx
off
crew.
the top of the dome. This is
Yes.
just morning sky, blue sky in it here.
That sounds great.
We
you know what?
need
I
to
would do
get
a-
right now with a former guest on the Geoff and Whisp Morning Show, Griffin Newman.
Oh,
sure.
my God. Have you
Doing
ever,
the TV
have you
show
ever talked
Vinyl.
to this guy?
Final.
The only thing that he ever did in his career that was worthwhile.
Worthwhile. He was
I
like,
agree.
he was like, this is going to last forever.
Because if there's one person I've always associated, and I've told this right to his face, with classic
face.
rock, it is Griffin Newman.
Do you know why vinyl ended? I know exactly why vinyl ended.
Cocaine, but that's why.
Yeah.
Why
Real
do you
cocaine
think
on
it ended?
set.
Why do
Number
you
one.
think, Wisp?
Because my good best friend in the world,
Yeah.
Mick Jagger,
Sure.
was on set the same day I was on set because Griffin invited me.
Wow.
And I'm there. And I'm like, that's a lot of real cocaine, fellas.
My God.
And Scorsese's in the background.
Marty, to his friends.
Marty, to
Yeah.
his friends. So I call him Marty, of course. And here comes Jagger. One of my good best friends in the world. Real piece of shit. One of my good best friends in the world.
Yeah.
He comes in and he's like, what the hell is this shit?
Oh, my God, he's here.
And that was it. They're like, wrap, cut.
That's it.
Marty's gone. Marty was already in. Right when Mick was like, whoa! Marty was getting into his limo and it was speeding out.
He was
And
done.
And Griffin was like, oh, God, what happened? I'm like, I think Mick Jagger just canceled
He
your
said,
show.
Wisp said to him directly, he goes, there goes your career.
There goes your career.
Now, I knew that show had been renewed for season 2 and then was unrenewed. I didn't know that the
is
reason
why.
for that
That's
was
why.
Jagger.
And then immediately Jagger got in a limo, goes over to SNL and goes, this shit's fantastic. And then it just kept on going until our 50th anniversary. And
That's amazing.
no rest in power.
And
to-
Rudy Giuliani was there and he was like, well, it's never been funny.
Exactly. The famous quote from Rudy
famous
Giuliani.
quote.
Well, this show has
Rudy
always sucked.
Giuliani. Wait, if you could build a perfect beast that included a little Rudy Giuliani, but I'm talking the one that's in a wheelchair now, would it include that?
The well, it's never been funny quote?
No. We're still talking. God
No, that
damn
just
it.
go. We don't even need
This
to.
is-
That
you
happens
gotta
no
be
matter
on your
what.
feet, Patrick. It's morning
I'm sorry,
radio.
I'm
This
sorry,
isn't
I'm sorry.
any of that
It's early.
fucking.
This ain't no
Excuse me.
afternoon
It is-
radio.
afternoon,
It is what?
This is Piano Man 102 having a good time here.
Wait,
Happy afternoon.
Wisp, the radio station that I used to call into was Rock 102.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Well, the demons from that station are leaking into the demons of this station because all rock and roll stations have demons and they talk to each other and they bring it in. Now, back to it. The perfect beast.
Yes.
You can use pieces from Rudy Giuliani, but Rudy Giuliani now, what would you
In the
use?
wheelchair.
In the
I'd put
wheelchair.
him in the wheelchair. I would have the oil leaking out like his hair dye. You remember that?
yes.
Going down the side of the beast.
He was like, nobody's going to notice this.
My God. And he said it out loud, and we were like, Rudy,
Yeah.
hate to break it to you.
I hate to break it to you. You're on the stage of 8H. This is going out to everybody right now, Rudy.
You've got a bit of a leak there, Rudy.
do you think he'll be at the 50?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, 100%.
Do you think he's going to walk the or roll the carpet, I guess?
What's going to happen is they're going to push him out in his wheelchair,
Yeah.
and Chevy Chase is going to be in his lap, and he's going to be like, this should feel embarrassing.
Yes. And the things coming out of Chevy Chase's mouth, oh my God.
Yeah, if you think there are things leaking out of old Rudy Giuliani, the stuff that's going to be leaking out of the third
Yowzer.
amigo is going to just set you on fire. Who do you think's going to be at who are the shock surprises? Let's play a little game here on the Geoff and Whisp Show.
And this is a game we had prepared ahead of time.
We did
just to let
prepare
you know.
this one.
Shock
We
surprise guest
shocks
SNL
and
50th
surprises
anniversary.
of the SNL. Let's just get into it because I cannot find the music.
Because there were some. Well, I'll let you play your music and then.
No, I can't fucking find it.
Okay.
Can't
God,
find everything.
where is
I
it?
think you got Henley'd again.
Oh my God!
As we all know, after the New Year's
Do you want me
came,
to- I
we
can
all
just
were worried
sing.
about Don Henley coming in. I think he came. Oh, he
Here's
got
the game. Who's going to be the biggest shock surprises at SNL 50? Patrick, you're the guest. You get to go first.
Well, I was going to say there were a lot of weird ones at 40 because Palin was there. Our future president.
You
was
mean
there.
Michael Palin?
I mean Michael Palin. Yeah, the 3-time host Michael Palin. I
I was
think.
like, who let 3-time host Michael Palin in? And he's like, well, I was invited. I you host 3 times. He didn't even get a 3rd-timer jacket, did he?
My God, I love the third timer sketch.
Yeah,
It's funny.
One of my
anytime
favorite
you get
sketch skits.
3rd-timer.
It's funny. Who will be the surprise host? The surprise guest? I don't know. Maybe the Night Bitch.
Oh,
From the movie Night Bitch. She might be
Working
there.
on a night, bitch.
currently
Yep.
streaming on Peacock, so it is
Currently
like a
streaming
cross-
on Hulu. Watching that night, bitch.
Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan.
Oh, please.
Oh, fantastic.
And Bob Dylan as Timothy Chalamet.
Yes.
Better be.
And let's see who and Count Orlok himself
Oh, my God.
from the new Nosferatu.
Of course, Skarsgård.
I think no. Count
Not
Orlok
Skarsgård.
himself.
Oh, the actual.
Himself.
When you
The
say,
actual-
"Oh my goodness,"
That's who I mean.
Wow.
He's going to be
The
there.
actual Count.
He's going to be in a Celebrity Jeopardy sketch, and it's going to be really funny.
Oh my God! I hope
That
so.
does sound very funny.
I hope the whole show is just one big celebrity Jeopardy. And
Sean
it's nothing-
Connery,
Sean Connery,
the actual Count Orlok.
Count Orlok. You can't have rest in peace,
Rest
in power.
in peace, rest in
Norm
peace.
Macdonald. Can't have Norm Macdonald in there.
But probably David Duchovny.
Goat Boy.
Someone doing a terrible in Goat Boy. It will be Goat Boy
Oh,
doing
please.
a David Duchovny impression.
100% they are inviting more back for the 50th.
Oh my
Victoria Jackson will be
Yeah.
there. She'll have a little bit where she gets to sing something anti-vax on a
God. Oh, that'd be very
ukulele.
fun. I love when she sang something anti-vax on Weekend.
Oh, it's always so good.
My
Best
God.
part of those episodes. A lot of people say Phil Hartman. I say Victoria Jackson.
My God.
My God.
Dennis Miller off the chain. He'll start to just be able to go.
Oh,
for
they're
it.
just going to he's going to do all the weekend update himself.
And the whole thing hosted by Shane Gillis, and this is going
And
to be
the whole
wonderful.
thing hosted
It'll
by
be
Shane
fun, and
Gillis.
just Lauren going, finally,
We did it.
we did it.
Oh, my God.
Can-
All
and,
of
he,
these-
and then when Shane Gillis comes on, they go, "Can we be funny now?" And then Rudy will go, "Now you."
and
Now
he
you
just keeps
can.
going across the stage with Chevy Chase in his lap. It just rolls. Oh, that's the game. Who do you think will be on the 50th anniversary of SNL special? Definitely a planned out segment here on 108.9 The Hawk. Hey, we do have to send the signal down. Jeff, can you do that?
We're sending the signal down to who? What are we? You just ran out of the studio, Wisp.
You gotta send.
What exactly?
Oh, sorry.
were
I
you
thought
doing?
you could do it. I thought maybe you could read.
You didn't
but
tell
I
me
guess
what
I
we.
was
Scotty
wrong.
over here did not tell me what's going on.
Oh,
We're
Christ.
flying
Well,
by
we're sending
Searpins.
the
You're
signal.
running away
This is a
from the
mess.
mic. You know, we got to get this back together.
We're sending the signal down to Big Truck.
Oh, to
He's
Big Truck
broadcasting
down
live
at-
at
oh
the
my
Sammy Hagar School of Driving. Big Truck, what's going on?
Yeah, we're just down here at the Sammy Hagar School of Driving. What?
Your background music.
Who's that?
is Quite late. This is Jeff the Angry Man Garlock.
Who?
My God, Big Truck.
Who's talking?
This
it's
is
me,
Jeff
Big Truck.
the Angry Man Garlock. Do you have your headphones working this time? For these? No, Scotty, you got to before you send it to.
Well,
Big
I don't
Truck.
know who's talking to me
No.
right now, but we're down here at the Sammy Hagar School of Good Driving, where you're going to be here until 9 a.m. And I got koozies and T-shirts. And who
Now,
was
Big
that?
Truck, what is on the koozies exactly?
Now the koozies.
Oh, you heard
Is
that?
that Jeff the Angry Man Garlock?
It's the Angry Man. Yes, we've gone through this, Big Truck.
Hey man, who else in the studio with you right now, man?
Hey, big truck. How's it going?
Who's that? Patrick?
This is Patrick Cotnoir. Yeah.
Patrick
from Hey, That's Me,
Cotnoir.
a commentary
Oh.
podcast.
Wait, what's the podcast?
It's called Hey, That's Me, a commentary podcast. And Big Truck, you can find it anywhere that you can get podcasts.
I can find it. So I'm digging a hole.
Yeah.
That's usually where I get my podcasts. I dig
You
a
found
hole.
podcasts there before.
I found 2 episodes of Smartless.
Okay. I
found-
don't know if the RSS feed auto-populates to holes in the ground, but I can double check for you.
Scott,
You should check because this is a pretty big audience for you, Patrick.
didn't
Just to
realize
say.
this.
Just
there's
to
a
let you know.
huge goddamn audience for you. Okay,
Between
so what
holes in
kinda-
the ground and then tapes you buy at truck stops.
Yeah.
The taped versions of podcasts.
So
are
what kind
most
of
the listeners.
who do you have on your podcast?
Who do we have on?
Who do you
The
like to have
first-
on there? Two.
Yeah, the first episode we did was David Farrier doing the documentary Tickled.
Oh my God,
you
David
guys-
Farrier
Yeah,
doing
it
the
was-
document. I ain't never heard of him.
Oh, it's great. You should watch it, Big Truck. It's about a competitive
dig it?
tickling rings. You like tickling, Big
Wait,
Truck?
what is a tickle? What's a tickling ring? Because a lot, man, I'm just gonna tell you, I do a lot of driving in the big rig.
Yeah.
And I could be out there, and when you go to a Flying J truck stop, the tickling ring is a little bit of a different thing, I think, to them
Sure,
drivers than
You'll get in there and they'll be like, shower open, also opening in the tickling ring.
tickling
I
ring
find
room
I don't
one.
actually think it's that different than that, Big
Get
Truck.
on
I
in.
think that's pretty
Really?
close to what this is.
Oh,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna love this movie.
Yeah, we Candy Clark, Oscar nominated for American Graffiti, did American Graffiti. Wow.
Candy Clark.
Candy Clark, yeah.
That's a song. That's a Candy Clark. Yeah. Going on up. Candy Clark.
We got the guys who wrote the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie, the animated one that came out
Wait,
last year. They're
Get
doing
out of
it.
here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my favorite movie. I watch
That
it
was
in the
he-
truck every night.
The guy who played the Predator in Prey.
What?
Well,
it
now
did the
we're
show.
starting to talk some
Now we're
turkey
getting into
here.
You
some
mean
good
to
ones.
tell me on
Yeah.
your podcast that
Yeah, yeah,
everybody can get anywhere goddamn
damn-
podcasts
We
are
got a damn
available?
Predator.
You got a goddamn predator.
We did.
Were
We
you
did.
ever worried?
Goddamn
that-
Yout just showed up in
my God.
your studio. That is amazing.
Were you? Was there a situation there, Patrick?
Yeah.
This is Big Truck again. If
Hey,
you
Big
don't
Truck,
know,
yes.
if you
No, of
can't
course.
tell,
Yeah,
toot toot. Was there ever a situation? I'll talk about the goddamn school in a second.
Jesus.
Was
Who are
there
you
ever?
talking-
A si-
Who's down there, Big Truck?
Oh, that's the guy dressed up like Sammy Hagar. His name's Chris. He owns the establishment. I will talk about it.
Put
Is
him
he
on
at
the
least
mic.
wearing
Big Truck,
red?
Can
You
we
want
talk
to-
to him?
You want to talk to Chris? The
Yes.
guy dressed. Okay, hold on.
Of course.
Hello?
Hey, Chris.
Hey.
Hey,
this?
this is Patrick Cotnoir.
Are we on the air?
That's me, a commentary podcast.
Are we on there?
Yeah, we're live on the air in the morning. The Angry Man's here too.
well then
if you
come
wanna
on
check
down
it
to
out.
the Sammy Hagar School of Good Driving and things. You think that you can't drive 55? But you can.
Oh boy.
Down
Jeez.
here
Don't give
at the-
everyone
give
a
me
mic,
goddamn
Big
mic
Truck.
back.
Jesus.
Okay, now talk. Now here's my question.
And he was getting mad at you, Big Truck.
He is so angry. That was a show.
I could hear the rage in his voice.
That was a goddamn show where
Yeah.
he was just like, I'm gonna. They're gonna think that you're lying.
I guess
they're gonna
so.
think that you're a goddamn liar. Did you ever think
Yeah.
that when you were setting up this time with the Predator, and you and your buddy
Yeah. Brian.
are sitting in your little podcast studio,
That was my living room. Yeah.
and you're like your little network sponsored
little hobbit hole.
hobbit hole of a podcast hole, and you're in there, man, and all of a sudden you hear, and those 3 red dots show up on your forehead, and you're like, "Oh God, the Predator's here!"
Dun 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 dun.
Your
Dun
question
dun
is,
dun dun
did I
dun.
ever-
And you're like,
did
oh
I
no,
ever
I hear
think
that music sting.
Dun, 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 dun.
Your
Dun dun
question
dun
was,
dun dun dun.
Did
My
I ever
question
think
is-
that was going to happen?
Did you think that was what it was going to go down in your podcast hole?
I was nervous, but I assumed we would be fine, and ultimately
Yeah.
we were fine. He was nice.
He
you
did
know?
not come in dressed as a predator.
No. He came in dressed as, he was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Which
Do you have a
maybe sometimes
t-shirt?
predators wear that. I don't know.
I mean,
Oh,
a lot
and
of
sometimes I gotta
Predator
relax. I
3
can't always be hunting.
Predator 3 shorts and a t-shirt. That was the beach one. When they were all just down at the beach having a good time.
Predator
traveling
goes
through
Hawaiian.
time,
Yeah,
handing out guns.
38 Special did the soundtrack to it. It was
Are
fantastic.
you having a good time, predators? And they're all
Gonna take me back to Yautja Dice. And you're like, really? Wow.
and then here comes Danny Glover. He's got his
Here he
gun.
comes. He's like, I'm getting too old for this shit. And you're like, well, wrong franchise. Come
Wrong.
on.
Well,
Close.
I'm going to go ahead and send the signal back up. I
okay.
guess come on down here anytime you want. I'm going to be here till 9. Who gives a shit? It is the Sammy Hagar School of Good Driving. I'm Big Truck on 108.9 The Hog.
Bye, Big Truck.
Okay,
My
good.
bad, Big Truck. Jesus.
Good to hear Big Truck. I was taking a shit. What happened?
Oh, I mean,
We talked
So
to a guy
much.
named Chris.
Oh, that guy is. I dealt with him. I did the business on this sale.
Yeah.
And what an angry dude.
What an angry
What
guy.
an
That's what we
angry
heard.
dude.
Yeah.
just so pissed off.
There are 2 types of angry dudes.
Yeah. Sure.
One, Jeff Garlock.
That's me.
2, magicians. It's Steve Miller Band on 108.9 The Hawk. Oh, wait, is this an Eminem song? Whoops. Do you have a hard time keeping your head from falling off the top of your neck while you're playing the drum part for Hot for Teacher? Well, what a coincidence. I do too. And I also wrote that drum part. I'm Alex Van Halen for Alex Van Neck Braces. The only place for drummers to purchase large neck braces to wear when they're drumming in Valverde. I get it. You're playing Jamie's Crying, and your head rolls right off your neck, and the band has to stop and put your head back on the top of your neck while the crowd groans because you took an emergency break. Not anymore, my friend. With my patented Alex Van Neck Braces technology, it's gonna hold your head right on your neck. And the show, yeah, man, it just goes on. Alex Van Neck Braces, Valverde.
Hi, this is Frank McStrange from the Gunt Brothers, and I'm listening to Geoff and Whisp every morning on 108.9 The Hawk.
You gotta live them every day. You got the broken heart to stand. I don't understand why you weren't calling your Northeast radio stations, Patrick, and just being like, could I hear Badlands again?
A little too south for us.
Oh, so you're
Jersey's
saying that's like a
little-
Jersey thing.
Yeah. You got to cut it off at Long Island, I think.
Oh, okay. Because all those
Classic
stations
Long
in
Island cutoff right there.
yeah. All those stations in Jersey are just like, hey, you're listening to fucking Badlands 102. Morristown's favorite radio station. Yep, I know. I was there. I lived in New York for a while. I was there. We did it.
And then you get into South Jersey, and you got Daniel Bryan from Bon Jovi. My God.
My God.
Thick
The
as
biggest
string.
Southern accents in South Jersey.
Hey, man.
You go to,
Hey, man, welcome down here to
Y'all
South Jersey.
playing Badlands again on 104.5
they're all
Jersey.
just dripping all the Jersey maters down their fucking faces.
Them old Jersey maters.
Oh, my God. Well, Patrick, it's been good having you here. Now, you can get this podcast fucking anywhere. Now, this isn't the only thing you do. You
That's
do
true.
a lot of things. You
That's
do a lot of things with the real George Lucas.
It's true. Yeah, the real George Lucas. Yeah, I work on this show called the George Lucas Talk Show with the real George Lucas and the real Watto from the Star Wars prequels.
Can't even believe it.
It's
Cannot
a talk
believe that
show,
you were
and
able to suck him out of cinema.
It's
and
true.
put him into real life.
It is true.
It's
And
like the last action hero, but Star Wars.
Do we regret that? Maybe a little bit. Should he have stayed in the cinema? Yeah,
Probably.
probably.
What I don't understand is Watto's fun.
Yeah, undeniably.
Sebulba
Yeah,
is
that's the guy.
more fun.
That's the guy.
My God.
You want Sebulba in there.
And I think there's a chance that maybe Sebulba shows up someday. You know what I mean? Like
Sebulba's in there.
you
Is
could
this
suck
exclusive?
anyone. Yeah, you could suck anyone out of the cinema at any
That's
time.
the thing.
Anyone,
That's the thing.
really?
Any day.
Anyone.
If
Anyone.
you're gonna
The
suck,
night pull her out.
if
Bring
you're
her
gonna
I want to
suck
pull out
anybody
Zero
of cinema-
Mostel from the movie version of The Producers to be on your George Lucas talk show. Do you think
Would
he
love
could do
it.
that?
God, that'd be
Max
amazing.
Bialystock would fit right in.
My God.
Oh my! But is he still alive? Is he? Can we get a Scotty? Can you look that
If
up?
he's on cinema, he's alive in our hearts, and that's all
Always
that matters.
Are you
alive
asking
in
if
our
Max Bialystock is still alive or Zero
Yes.
Mostel?
The
Oh,
character
Bialystock.
Max Bialystock.
Yeah, I think he never dies. I think that's
Oh, good.
That's a big part of that show.
Are you saying that with your machine that you guys use on the George Lucas Talk Show,
Yeah, to get Watto out.
that I could suck out
Yeah.
Coke Rock Neil Young from The Last Waltz,
Oh my God.
and he could just be that coked out Neil Young,
And I think
Coke
he's-
Rock in
Yeah.
all the time.
They don't age. They stay exactly how they were when you loved them, and you just get him forever like that.
And we
which-
could pull out, and this would actually make sense. You could pull out Russ Never Sleeps, Aaron Neil Young, with those little Jawas moving
God, with
all
the
that
Jawas.
conceptual art
With
around.
the Jawas.
I just saw that picture for the first time.
Have you never seen
Totally
Russ
makes
Never
sense.
Sleeps?
It totally
I've
makes
never
sense
seen
why
it.
he would do all of the things he does in that.
I
Right?
think I want the Jawas taking my guitars out and putting up the big microphone.
It's a
Also-
conceptual piece.
Years past Star Wars.
Oh,
This was like
oh.
3 years after Star Wars.
Empire had not even come out yet. There is no Empire. And he's like, you know what's hipping really big in 1979? Jawas.
I just cut my hair. Let's bring a Jawa in.
I'm putting on some suspenders. Where's my Jawas? And those were all his friends.
Yeah. And you can pull
Crosby,
them out.
Stills, and Nash
All as
were
the
the
Jawas.
Jawas.
Yeah.
Shorter
Those
than
Ja-
you think they are.
They had to be on their knees, and Steven Stills is just like, God damn it,
I'm so
Neil.
goddamn tall.
goddamn tired.
David
of doing
Crosby
this
was
shit."
just like, this works for me.
Oh, he was out. He was out, and fucking Graham Nash was just happy to not be in the Hollies.
My God.
Oh my!
One of my favorite
God.
Graham Nash records, by the way.
Happy to not be in the Hollies. Oh, nothing sounds like the Hollies on it. It might as well be a death metal record.
This
Oh
has
my
really been a
goodness.
real learning experience for me because I like classic rock and I like
Yep.
music as a whole, but like I feel like I'm learning so much just hanging out with you guys.
You really do.
Yeah.
You learn if you want to learn something, ladies and gentlemen. You fucking learn by listening to classic rock radio.
That's why I listen to it. When I
I'm
go
excited-
home, I turn it on. I just listen because I'm just like, I
You
just
just
want to
listen
learn.
the whole
And I
time.
do my own learning. And I do my own research.
Okay,
And I only
so-
do it through classic rock.
Last plug, Patrick, before we go on, because we do have Ed Begley Jr. coming up in the 7 o'clock hour.
Oh my gosh, I had no
He's gonna
idea. That's amazing.
Crash his little electric car right through.
He's going to be actually talking about Diesel. He's very into
talking about
Diesel, now.
Yeah, he's just like,
crazy.
I gotta talk about fucking Diesel. I'm like, let everyone.
25. A lot of
It's gonna be-
changes.
No questions about St. Elsewhere though.
Oh, okay. Well,
He
that's
will
I
make
know
a
all the
single-
kids on TikTok again are
Again, here
asking
we go.
questions.
We are not. We're talking broad stuff here, Patrick. We're not talking niche things that keeps people from listening to this station. We are talking broad subjects like St. Elsewhere. I mean,
Broad and evergreen is our motto.
oh my God.
Look,
Let's start
you're-
talking Boston legal, and then we'll get all of the listeners in.
Boston Public. We'll just go down all the Boston.
Let's go down the
short-lived TV
fucking
shows.
line. Okay, what's your show called again?
Yeah, I mean, if you want a non-niche podcast, listen to
Oh,
Hey That's
completely.
Me, a commentary
Completely.
podcast. Shows where we're doing commentaries on movies or TV shows with the people who made them, who never got to do commentaries on them. Or the George Lucas Talk Show, doing a lot of touring shows coming up in the new year. San Francisco, Los Angeles, probably New York soon after that. And you can find it all on YouTube, and you can find the podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
One last pitch.
Yeah.
I have heard that Andy Dick was not allowed to be anywhere near the news radio commentary.
Oh, wow. They only did one commentary.
Yep.
Okay.
Paul Sims was like, no Andy Dick, please.
Sure.
Would you let Andy Dick in to talk about any news radio episode he wants to?
The phrase, would you let Andy Dick in, sent a chill down my spine.
Knowing that he's going to live on your couch.
That's also the name of his new autobiography coming out this year. Would you let Andy Dick in, by the way?
Would you let Andy Dick in, please?
Well, look,
Self-published.
I think now that we've established the separate RSS feed for guest-only episodes, I think him and Schneider would do a great duo act where they can just do. They could even do commentaries on each other's things. You get a Mick commentary on the animal. You get a Schneider commentary on
in the army now. In the army now.
In the army.
Oh,
fantastic!
That episode of Love that he was in. Look, I think we're open to having anyone, and if they want to do it, they can reach out. I probably won't reach out, but they can reach out.
What about the big guy that worked on the farm in Son-in-Law?
Good question.
Would you let the big guy who worked on the farm?
Carlo Gugino and the big guy.
Yeah,
the big guy.
The big guy. Is that how we promote him as the big guy?
IMDb.
I mean, nobody knows the name
Here
of
it
the
is.
big guy.
The big guy. He's the big guy.
That's what his name is. IMDb.
Yeah.
Got credits. Sure. He was also in Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
Wow.
Oh my God!
What episode?
Wow!
Wow!
What a career!
Yes.
Again, TikTok. This one's for you. The Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
Clip
reference.
this. Put it in there. To hashtag it FYP. Everybody's gonna be watching.
How many people tune into your guys' show every morning?
Every morning, 400,000 Valverdians.
That's pretty good. That's got to be most of the town, right?
Oh God, no way. No way.
No,
we've got 500,000 people. So there's still 100,000 that
We're
just
trying to
aren't
get
sold.
to their
just
their
not
years.
sold.
Okay.
And then podcast wise,
Yeah.
20.
Wow. We got to get those numbers up, guys.
No, we were told that was good. Scotty,
Wait,
you
Scotty,
did tell
were we
me
wrong? Is 20
that
not
was good? Is 20 not good, Scotty? Well, he's just shaking his head.
Kind
We'll
of a
never
circular
know.
motion this time, though.
We'll never know. He's probably just bopping his head to Cherry Bomb by John Mellencamp on 108.9 The Hawk.
You're listening to 108.9 The Hawk.
Patrick, welcome to 108.9 The Hawk. This is the real Jason Gore.
Is the real Jeff Garlock.
And
Wow.
welcome.
What
Thank
a
you. I still
time.
have my I'd rather be in bed mug, which is a real mug
Yeah.
that I choose to drink out of many mornings, and I do enjoy it.
So what's the level of reality now? We're out of the show.
We're
real,
out of the
you
show.
guys.
This is real life.
It's just
But
life.
you guys were playing those characters, or
We
those
are-
are
we-
separate guys?
Those are separate guys.
Okay.
Separate guys. I
Wisp
mean, there's a
Turlington-
fine line between.
You can cut
both of
this
them.
out if you want.
Yeah. No. I want to keep that in there because honestly, you probably at least 50 podcast listeners are asking the same thing.
That's true. You just.
But we
gotta-
also have to say that it is the interview because we had Gabrus in here one time and we started it by saying it's the interview and we start talking about his TBS show and how great it is. And he's like, is this an interview? He's like, because you guys were being really, really nice.
Really threw him off.
And
We love him for it.
People aren't normally nice to Gabrus, so I get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only nice to Gabrus. I got the T-shirt. That says it. So this is. I remember you teasing this idea of a podcast on with your buddy.
Brian.
You guys were teasing it on the Twitters,
Yeah.
or the X, as
Whatever you
all
wanna
the cool
call it.
kids call it. And I was like, "What is this going to be?"
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were keeping it under your hats.
We're trying to.
You're
yeah.
both wearing hats.
I famously always do.
Famously, just a big
Big hat
old
guy.
top hat.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like,
Like
"What's it gonna be?"
Slash. Slash was like, ooh, Patrick's
Basically,
got some
yeah,
good
you
ideas.
and Slash shop at the same store
Yeah.
in Los Feliz.
It's
And
expensive. Yeah.
Oh God, these hats, they're so fucking expensive.
So much turquoise.
Oh, yeah. And then the idea came out, you guys announced it, and I was like, fuck,
think it's a fun
They
idea.
were right.
Yeah.
It's a good goddamn idea.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. We've done, I think we have 13 in the bank ready to go. So, yeah, it's been, we've gotten some, like, cool people and people that I think don't get to talk about those kind of things at length. You know, they're doing, like, a freaking AV Club interview or whatever. And it's like, you're not really getting to the meat of the deal where you're, like, watching this being like, oh, this day I was sick. Or this day, you know, like, everyone wanted to go home or whatever. And it's just, it's fun hearing, like, 90 minutes of someone talking about one thing, you know?
Yeah. That's why people come to 108.9 The Hawk, because
That's true.
they
They
like
only
to
talk
hear
about
us
one thing.
talk about Billy Joel.
Yes.
All the
Patrick, I
time.
have to ask you, have you, I assume you have, but have you ever watched, listened to the Conan the Barbarian commentary?
No. Tell me more.
It's the first real commentary I remember getting on a DVD. I remember that and being excited Seven had one.
Oh, yeah.
When
Sure.
that DVD first came out, when it was DVD, but
God, I want to hear the ins and outs of what they were thinking in the making of the movie Seven.
I'm sure it's a fun one. I'm sure it's really fun.
It was a good, but
Yeah.
so you have to, because it truly was like a mind-blowing one of Schwarzenegger and John Milius. John Milius could not stop creaming his jeans about his own movie, and he just always talks like this. He's like the power of steel when they're showing the sword. And Arnold, much like as we know Arnold now, I've read like 3 of his autobiographies. I love the man very much for his craziness.
And those are great audiobooks, by the way.
They are. He can't remember anything that happens in the movie. So the entire thing goes,
funny.
this is where Conan's riding a horse. This is where Conan gets laid. Oh, he sure gets laid a lot. Like, there's just literally just telling you the thing he saw.
Yeah.
And then it does match when I remember reading Total Recall, talking to a friend of the show, John Murray, and he's like, he remembers nothing about his movies because it wasn't only about him.
Yeah, sure.
And everything about weightlifting, he remembers every detail. But it's it's worth listening to because they're both working together on opposite ends of the
It
spectrum.
weirdly depends. Like, that kind of commentary can be my least favorite thing or the best thing, depending on who's doing it. Because sometimes you get a boring one where the person's just like, okay, and he's walking up the stairs here.
Yes.
And he's entering the room. And you're like, oh my God, just talk about anything else. But then if you get someone insane like that doing it, you're like, well, this is what I want.
I remember being very excited for the Sleepaway Camp commentary because I was like, oh, the filmmaker will explain that crazy murder with a curling iron.
Sure.
And then he just kind of glazes over it. And you're like, buddy, come on. You know what we want to be hearing about.
I met someone a few months ago, and that is their mother. The curling
Really?
iron, the girl who gets killed by the curling iron is her mother.
And
Isn't
she
that
is
wild?
an amazing, crazy actress. Like, the
Yes.
way she emotes all the time. That is a great beat. Those are the types of beats that I get
I'll
excited
say
about.
this, that the daughter said, I can get you my mom for your podcast.
Well, this is get
So it
this,
sounds
and let
like
me
that might
just come
have
on for
happened.
2 minutes to just be like, I love you and your work. I mean, this is what me and Jason get excited about, and this seems like it's like a big chunk of your podcast is like, we're always like, man, I wish I could meet the extras in the Kiss Lick It Up video. I don't give a fuck about meeting Gene Simmons.
Yes.
I want to be like, so what was it like on that day where you're filthy and eating mustard?
Filthy dressed women spraying mustard and ketchup into their mouths like that's the food of the future in the Kiss Lick It Up video.
Those are the only people that I care about. I mean, on George Lucas Talk Show during COVID, we would do fundraisers once a month where we would watch one-season TV shows and have people on from the shows to talk about it.
That's amazing.
And I mean, the best one we did was Studio 60. And we watched all of Studio 60 in one day, and we had 60 people from Studio 60 on the show, getting down to like the costumers or
How
like.
did I miss this, Patrick? 'Cause
PAs.
that's,
Oh,
I mean,
I watched it.
It's
was
all on
tremendous.
YouTube.
Yeah,
It's
I will
one
watch
of my
that.
favorite things. Yeah.
I love Studio 60 so fucking much.
so much.
Yeah, it's the best. But things like that where I'm like, yeah, I just want to talk to a PA or I want to talk to like the stand-ins or whatever. That one of my dream articles, which I pitched to my friends, run a Muppet website called puffpigs.com.
Brag much.
And one of the dream thing I want to do, and I've told them this, is I want to interview all of the pirates who are not Tim Curry in Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh yeah.
Just to be like, what are your guys' deals? Like, what?
Yeah.
Who are you? So I love that very specific niche, like The guys or girls who were just there the whole time, but like didn't do a ton, and you're like, "What was the vibe? Tell me everything," you know. And I think that's what this show is.
I just watched Denzel Washington's Ricochet for the first time recently,
sure. Yeah.
which I had never seen. And as Jason can tell, as someone who did a podcast about canon films for 4 years, both me and Frank Hale were like, how did we not see this?
Yeah.
And every moment of that movie is the most insane movie that's ever existed. But we both, Frank and me, got obsessed with all of the character actors in background. There's one guy dancing real hard in one scene.
Amazing.
And everyone goes for it. And it's just like, that's who I want to talk to. Like, Denzel's not going to give you any answers. That guy's
I met a makeup guy at the vet, strangely, a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about work and everything, and he told me that he worked with Peter Weller recently. And I was talking to him about the RoboCop documentary, which, if you haven't seen it, it's just batshit crazy.
Awesome.
Peter Weller hates the whole process. And I was telling him about pieces of that documentary, and he's like, "Oh, it tracks." He's like, "So we were working on Hawaii Five-0 during COVID, so this was like 2021.
Sure.
And we had to have a real baby on set, but we couldn't because of COVID, so we made a robot baby." And the person brings it up to Peter Weller, and he's like, "Hey, RoboCop brought you a robot baby."
Oh no.
And he's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Oh no.
And then somebody else, he told me another story of Weller where he was like, the person was talking to, just like doing small talk on set, I guess in between takes or whatever, because apparently if Weller does a good take, he treats himself. He automatically just goes, he calls cut himself, he goes and has a cigar and then has something sweet as a treat for himself. And he calls it his
RoboCop, it's
treat.
Oreos.
And he goes back, and the person was like, "Hey, so do you like shooting in Hawaii?" And Peter Weller just like shoots him a look. He's like, "Do I like shooting in Hawaii?" He's like, "I've lived in Hawaii for 29 years. I'm a resident." And he kept going. That's like, he's like that's like asking a virgin if you like to have sex for the first time. And this extra is probably just like, okay.
What a terrible analogy, though, because the virgin would not know. They
The
wouldn't know
virgin
if they
has no
liked it.
idea.
They don't know.
No, the virgin has no clue. You can't relate that. It's like, in my treat time. Goes.
That's the best.
I think it's such a cool idea for a podcast, Patrick, and I'm so excited for you because
it's one that I'm constantly like. Now I'm just like, oh, you should try to do this episode. You should try to do it. Like, I'm just like Friday the 13th the series. Get Robbie from Friday the 13th the series.
I want the guy who's the lawyer now from Friday the 13th. He's like an entertainment lawyer, I think.
Is the main guy?
No,
an entertainment lawyer.
He's in like Friday the 13th, like 4 or something like that.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Guy. I want him.
Yeah.
I have not reached out, but I should try to.
I said son-in-law earlier, but I don't think son-in-law had a commentary.
Great.
Where I would kill to hear that because it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. We just had the costume designer for The West Wing on.
Amazing.
And she did the pilot. And like people like that are so interesting to me just because I'm like, what's your life like, you know?
Yeah.
And now she is like the White House costume lady. Like she did Scandal. She's doing the new there's
I thought you meant at the actual White House.
No. I mean, like if you're doing a White House thing, they're like, well, we got to get Lynn.
We got to get her.
I think there's like the Seinfeld costume designer has her Instagram that that's like the one I care because she'll just be like, oh, this actor was great on set. Yeah. They love doing this thing backstage. So and I'm like, I love that shit.
Who are your dream guests?
Ooh, that's a great question. Who are my dream guests? I should have an answer for this, shouldn't I? I want some of the old ILM guys, like the visual effects guys.
Oh, yeah.
But to like not talk about Star Wars because that's all I do is talk about Star Wars on George Lucas, you know, like, but I want to have like guys talk about Galaxy Quest, or I want to have guys talk about, you know, yeah, exactly. Anything like that. I would love to, you know, Frank Oz is always the dream guest for something. Yeah. He just did a Muppet Steak Manhattan one that I have not heard yet, but I've heard it's great. But he's hard to get in touch with, you know.
If you use your hunting down skills to get Rob Bottin,
I would love.
That's to me that's the ultimate.
Yes, 100%.
Like, because he's hidden off and he like won't talk to anyone.
100%.
I think our dream guests.
Yeah.
At least for me, Weird Al Yankovic.
Great.
I'd love to have on.
Yeah. Did George
Phil-
Lucas talk show.
Phil Hendry. He did?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I believe Weird Al, I think we have the longest consecutive interview with Weird Al. I don't think there was a longer, we had 3.5 hours. He did.
Oh, my God.
And I don't think that anyone has had more than that.
I was at a film screening where they did like a little mixer afterwards, and he was there. And I don't get starstruck.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like somebody who's influenced everything that I do,
Of course.
I could not say hello.
Yeah.
But I could say hello to fucking Billy Zane dressed up like a fucking 1940s biplane pilot.
Yeah.
Would love Billy Zane on anything.
Oh my God, Zane!
Talking about
that's
Zoolander?
a podcast right there.
Oh my God,
Zane on anything.
Billy Zane on Dead Calm. Oof, now that is what I care about.
Oh my God! Well, Patrick, thank you so much for doing this.
Fantastic.
It was absolute blast, and we'll see you all next time on 108.9 The Hawk.
108.9 The Hawk with Jason Gore and Jeff Garlock.
A comedy podcast about a fictional classic rock radio station.
Hear and see new episodes every Monday. Subscribe on YouTube,
Apple Podcasts,
Spotify,
Pocket Casts,
Overcast, and wherever you get your podcasts. Support the show by going to patreon.com/1089 The Hawk. Get video and audio episodes 1 week early, bonus shows, and so much more. Get that merch by going to our website at 1089thehawk.com. And if you like what you heard in this episode, you can check out a ton of 108.9 The Hawk episodes on our website at 1089thehawk.com or wherever you get your podcasts. A comedy podcast about a fictional classic rock radio station. 108.9 The Hawk with Jason Gore and Jeff Garlock.